We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. The foundation leads the fight. The warriors lead the tribe. When the beat drops and the spirits rise, we find the truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Oh, bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo. We gonna buck the status.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us here. This is the Grunt Style Foundation Irreverent Warriors podcast. I am joined by my favorite buddy, and temporary co-host who is becoming more regular on the show, and that is Roy Bowen from Irreverent Warriors St. Louis. And also, I'm joined by Chris from Wreaths Across America.
What's up, everybody?
He is with development and Wreaths Across America, and we're very excited to get into talking a little bit more about Wreaths Across America, how it came to be, and how Irreverent Warriors folks can get involved. Because I know we have a lot of chapters and we have a lot of communities out there that every December they get really excited about the Wreaths Across America events. So we'll get into that and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, what I wanted to jump into and talk about is we're super excited to have our annual Grunt Style Foundation Retreat Integration that is happening on September 18th. And we even have a special VIP offer and experience for those that want to come a day early on September 17th. You can pick up those tickets on gruntstylefoundation.org. And that is the ability to come a day early and go through the Lakota Drum Creation Project. And you're able to walk through with folks from Lakota, from the Pine Ridge Reservation, and they can walk you through the history. There you see Jalen. He's walking everybody through this wonderful workshop and helping everybody create their own Lakota authentic items. And these are all handcrafted by yourself with the help and guidance of these Lakota workers and masters who have been doing this their entire lives. So it's really, really, really a beautiful opportunity. But when you come to integration, one of the coolest things, and I want Roy to weigh in too on what he finds interesting. And we also have Matt Scally as a virtual guest today, and he's actually the cold plunge instructor guru at integration that's going to be walking us through a couple things. So we'll definitely have him weigh in a little bit. But my favorite part is getting to meet all of these different holistic healing practitioners who have been helping people deal with PTSD, anxiety, depression, all the symptoms that the veteran community is well known for. They've been helping us face that for some of these people have been doing this their entire lives, 30, 40 years. They've been helping people regain their own journey, take back the power of their own healing path. You know, we've been taught, hey, the next pharmaceutical is going to fix all your problems. The next talk therapy session is going to fix your problems. The next, diagnosis, is going to help you and fix all your problems. But for me, my healing didn't actually begin until I started following my own heart, my own healing journey. And a lot of that was these holistic modalities, whether it's breath work, meditation, cold plunge, all these different things. I'd love to hear, since you've been a main participant for 3 integrations now, 3 integration retreats, what are your favorite things to dip your toe into? What are your favorite modalities?
Cold plunge was definitely one of the ones that initially did not sound good to me at all.
Yeah.
But
Sounds awful.
The selling on me, cold plunge to me, was when we made that trip out to Reno.
Yeah.
Dude, just those couple cold plunges put my arthritis back into control where I can't even close my middle finger right now.
Yeah.
Because the arthritis is so bad right now. I can't make a fist with this hand.
Yeah.
And it was nice to be able to do that again for a while.
It helps me punch through panic attacks because when I get in the freezing cold water, I have a panic attack, but it's an intentional one. Because I know it's coming and I want to get out. My body's telling me I'm going to die and all this stuff. But then I kind of surrender and I'm just let the fear overwhelm me. And I just kind of drop into the fear or just allow it. And then it dissipates. And then all of a sudden I'm in this euphoric state. And it's was it that easy? The panic attack basically goes, oh, our job's done here. He's not afraid of the fear anymore. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I have similar, I'm a firm believer that you never learn anything when you're comfortable. And cold is a great way to be very, very intentionally uncomfortable. And there's a lot of things your body won't teach you until you get out of your comfort zone. And it's oh, now you're ready to learn something.
What did you, last year, did you do the sweat lodge?
Yes.
Okay. Talk about that.
It wasn't so much an easy to describe healing thing, so much as it was just a, for lack of a better way to describe it, exactly what the event's about, integrating things that have happened to you, sort of thing. It just reminded me of being in Iraq and allowed me to revisit that time and just kind of
from a different perspective.
from an older perspective, a wiser point of view
Mm-hmm.
than, being some young, dumb 20-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I have the panic attack in there too. In the sweat lodge, I have the panic attack, and as it comes up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I have to get out of here, and all that. And then I just go, let's die. And then it's like you do this. I guess it's surrendering is what they call it, but you're basically like, let's die. And then all of a sudden, it's like you're doing okay. You know what I mean? Like it's very uncomfortable. It's very emotionally uncomfortable, but I do enjoy to do it. So anyway, join us. Anybody that wants to come, September 18th through the 20th, we are going to be in Missouri at Quiver River State Park. We have cabined. It's a cabin campground, so you can buy a ticket and come stay in a cabin, or you can bring a tent, or you can bring an RV, whatever you want to do. And but join us. We're going to have a fantastic time. It's a beautiful place. It's basically where the Ozarks starts. There's a beautiful river and a lake and a bunch of other cool stuff. There you go. You can see we got a lot of. Yeah, there you go. There's a sweat lodge. There's the equine therapy. There we're doing Tai Chi. There we're doing Lakota spirituality. There we're doing hypnosis. People coming out of the sweat lodge there in the evening ceremony. That was fantastic. Yep. And they're wearing silkies. Irreverent Warriors, baby. Yeah, so join us. That's a really, really good time. And but anyway, without further ado, I want to get into the next segment. I wanted to jump in. We have a virtual guest on. We have from Irreverent Warriors and Grunt Style Foundation, we've got Derek Blumke. Derek Blumke leads our education and advocacy area of Irreverent Warriors and Grunt Style Foundation. And there he is. And so, Derek, I know that this week you were you were communicating with the Undersecretary of Health from the VA. We've already sent them a letter, and then they responded, and now we're sending them a second letter on the overprescription problem in the veteran community. And I believe 70% of veterans walk out of a VA when they go in there with some sort of psychotropic medication, and we're finding out that the side effects of these medications are never properly described. So people are having suicidal ideation. They're having all these interactions with other medications, and like the list goes on. I know I've experienced that. So I would love for you to kind of educate us on what's the latest on what Irreverent Warriors and Grunt Style Foundation are doing.
So we've been kind of leading the charge, not unilaterally, but working with all of our partner organizations, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, American Legion, and down the list. While there's a lot of advocacy issues and debates within the community, this has been kind of one of the issues that have been continuing to move down the field. And so back in April, we sent a letter to the VA Secretary requesting written informed consent for all psychotropics and narcotics across the VA. The VA's Office of Inspector General had identified probably 6 or 7 different inspections and investigations where they found health systems failing to provide informed consent, health systems not documenting informed consent with their patients, in some cases in most.
So essentially people walking out of the hospital with a bottle of pills, not having any idea that maybe as they onboard onto those pills, they could have suicidal ideation. As a side effect. And so they could be having suicidal ideation and believing, oh my gosh, I need to kill myself right now.
Right, and not having known that the medication could be inducing that, and their families not knowing that. And so that's been the big call to action. We had 30 plus groups sign that letter that went to the Secretary back in April. On June 15th, the VA Secretary invited us, along with probably 20 plus other groups, where they briefed us that they will be implementing written informed consent for antidepressants up to age 30. And then also for when they prescribe a benzodiazepine and an opiate, so like a Xanax or Valium and an opiate at the same time, because that's been documented. We know that's a dangerous combination, especially when patients aren't informed. So we had that briefing, and we ended up sending another letter on July 8th saying we appreciate your actions, but we believe these need to go further. Just this under these 2 scenarios don't go far enough, and so we reiterated our concerns to the VA Secretary in a second letter on July 8th. And then just yesterday, we sent that letter again to the Secretary and to Acting Undersecretary of Health, John Figueroa. And so right now we're just waiting to hear back. I think we've got a lot of opportunity here because a lot of folks just don't know the risk of the medications. A lot of providers don't know how these side effects may manifest and are mistaking another mental health issue with a drug side effect. And so our goal is to make prescribing practice smarter and safer for not only our veterans, but also all of our families.
Great. Yeah. And I think it's interesting, a lot of our Irreverent Warriors community, they don't know that Irreverent Warriors and Grunt Style Foundation are taking lead on this issue because it's a hard thing to talk about. There are a lot of organizations that are afraid to talk about pharmaceuticals. There's so many different reasons why, but it's just off limits. It's taboo. They're afraid to talk about it. But yet what we're seeing in the suicide numbers for veterans, and you and I both know members of the community who have lost family members when they were onboarding or offboarding from medications, and they had no idea that suicidal ideation could be it might not be my own, demons trying to eat me, but it's actually these pharmaceuticals are initiating a lot of that.
Yeah, and like you said, like many of us have experienced this. This is what led me to working on this issue. When I was going through antidepressant withdrawal, which my doctor hadn't warned me of, ended up taking me a year to get off of the antidepressant Zoloft. I had a little guy on my shoulder telling me, "Hey, you just need to go away. You don't belong here." If someone knows that the medication can cause those thoughts, or to kind of have somebody in the back of your head telling you those things, you can tune that out and say, okay, this is not my thoughts. These are not my thoughts.
This is temporary.
And this is not even me. It's being manufactured by a medication. And so all they need to know is to go back to their doctor and say, hey, I'm having an issue. And they can address it and adjust the medication, adjust it, or see if, hey, maybe this medication class is not working for that person. So.
Yeah, like in my own suicidal experiences, I definitely felt one of the things that felt so intense about those moments where you need to go take action and you need to get away from here and end this attack that's happening on your own head from your own mental health or whatever. A lot of it was that the voices are basically saying, I'm not going anywhere. This is the rest of your life. Is going to be this bad. This moment right now is the rest of your life. And I think just having in your mind, this is just for a couple days, and just knowing that, it gives you perspective. And perspective can help shift perception and shift a belief in that moment that, hey, I need to actually take act. Because, when we talk to Dr. Joyner from FSU, who's one of the leading researchers on suicidal ideation, he talks about lack of tribe, lack of sense of purpose to the tribe, and then the ability to do hard things and take initiative and take violent action. That's kind of the piece of the suicide formula that in the veteran community, we have a lot of initiative. We're very comfortable with guns. We're very comfortable with taking action, and that's like a part of the formula that's really, really hurting us in those moments where everything's kind of coming down and everything's falling apart mentally for us. And it's like, well, I got to do something about it. I'm accountable to do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
hey, Derek, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, Ray.
On that topic. So it's my understanding that TBI mimics all the symptoms of depression. Is that correct?
There's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of overlap, and a lot of times with TBIs, they're not really. Historically, we didn't really understand TBIs very well. So traumatic brain injuries, for those who are not familiar, as a result, we were treating them as like a mental health issue, and we're treating them as we've always treated mental health issues, which is primarily here's a medication, or at least for the past 30 or 40 years, this has been largely the approach. But what we found is that in many of these medications are contraindicated with brain injuries. So like an antidepressant, Wellbutrin, is never to be prescribed to people with brain injuries. And in the case of Connor Brumfield, who took his life about 2.5 years ago, 22-year-old veteran, Army veteran.
His family is awesome.
Yeah, Brian and Kim, just most amazing people you'll ever meet, and every day living a life of tragedy that they lost their son Connor, but the reality is that didn't need to happen. 8 pills in 8 days after that medication was prescribed, he took his own life and had the doctor. And
he'd never had any mental health problems. Yeah, he'd never had mental health problems before that, so it was just crazy.
Yep.
Just a thing for people to think about, that if you
I was definitely
are like,
there. That was me for sure.
If you're like most of us who have been around a lot of explosions, make sure your doctor knows that before you just start taking whatever pills they give you.
Absolutely.
Not
that's a good point.
don't come off of whatever pills they're suggesting you to take, but make sure your doctor is aware that you've been around a lot of things that go boom very loud.
Yep.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. All right. Well, Derek, and to lighten the mood, because every time we have you on, it's always really light subjects, right?
Oh, it's very light.
You're
It's
the
super
light topics.
uplifting. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's happy. Nothing terrible is going on to our community. No.
I know as a dad, you've got dad jokes. So I want to hear your latest dad joke.
That's not fair because you
rookie
made a
dad
joke
joke.
and I just said, hey, you're the joke. And I'm not great on my feet. So congratulations. You've
Okay,
got
I'll do a joke. I'll do a joke.
Okay,
I'll give you a
okay.
minute. I'll give you a minute to think of a knock joke.
Okay.
A guy walks into a library. He asks the librarian, "Do you have any books on paranoia?" The librarian whispers, "Right behind you." Dad joke. Dad
Great
joke
job.
Olympics.
That's solid. That's
Where
a
we
solid
at?
joke.
Where we at?
Thank you, producer.
This
Thank
is
you.
not fair.
Thank you.
You're
All right.
setting me up for disaster. I'm not gonna be able to do it for you right now. Let me do my
No.
chat GPT like you probably did just 2 seconds ago. Let me see if I can get a chance to do that.
I need a
Yeah,
knock
exactly.
joke from you before you get off. All right. Well, do why did the chicken cross the road at least?
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
I don't know. Why did the chicken cross the road?
All right.
Why do you think he asked you?
We'll count that as a dad joke. All right. Well, you're off the hook, Derek. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everything you do for Irreverent Warriors. And we'll check you out later, brother.
I've got one more. Detroit.
Oh. Yes.
IW.
Oh,
We'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah,
Anybody
big-
in
big-
Michigan
big
or the
hike.
area who wants to meet in Detroit for the Irreverent Warriors hike, we'll meet you there in the morning. So hopefully we can have a pretty great showing down there, but looking forward to it.
fantastic. Yes, big Detroit hike this weekend, big New Hampshire hike this weekend. Matt Scally's going to come on and talk about all the hikes and all the things going on. But yes, you will be there. You will be live streaming, and you'll be wearing a really cool shirt.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Assuming the post office doesn't screw that up.
Yeah, assuming it arrives in time. All right, brother. Good seeing
All right.
you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, fellas. See ya.
Peace. All right. All right. We've got Matt Scally up next. He is coming in live from Texas. And we are going to have him come on the show.
The magic you are looking for
there
is
he-
in the work you're avoiding.
Nice. Yes, that's Matt doing the cold plunging. And now he's about to come on. So, Matt, we are going to want to talk a little bit about integration. So you're coming to the integration September 18th, right? And you're going to be teaching. That shirt is incredible. Can I see that shirt real quick? What is this? Like Reverent Warriors, San Antonio, Santa Claus, Irreverent Santa Claus. I love it. I love it. That's a fantastic. And you're wearing red for Friday, just like Roy is. I'm being naughty. Roy's wearing. Remember, everybody deployed. Chris and I are on the naughty camp. Yes, we don't follow rules.
I don't own red shirts.
Yeah, we don't. Ooh, the producer, David, he just stood up. He's wearing a red shirt. So we're the naughty ones. But anyway, tell us a little bit about what you're going to be teaching at integration. What holistic modalities are you excited about, and what are you going to be teaching?
Man, this is my second year going to integration. Last year was so much fun. I did teach cold plunging last year and offered an experience, which went over really well. Some of my favorite days are when people get in that cold plunge for the first time. And yeah, it sucks a lot. But there's so many benefits to it. The mental benefits, or the mental health benefits, physical health benefits. And then you guys were already talking about the biggest benefit in my eyes is doing hard things and getting in there. You guys, I mean, you hit it right on the head with the stress training. When you get into that cold water, you're essentially training your body on how to handle stress in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
So, you know, when
Agreed.
inevitably life happens, because life's been hard, life been pretty hard for some people. Your body and your mind are already prepared for it because now they've been handling stress on a daily basis. So you can, you know, work through so many things that maybe the old version of you would have just shut down, reclused, isolated, and it opens up so many doors for you.
Yeah, the cold plunge. I had no idea that the cold plunge could help me so much on the mental health side of things.
It's crazy. There's been a ton of data around it, and cold plunging is actually the only thing that you can do, the only activity that will give you a 250% dopamine spike with no crash afterwards. Most other things, video games, chocolates, all the things that give you that quick hit of dopamine, as soon as that's over and you're all the way up here, you crash down to below where you were before that activity. Cold plunging, that doesn't happen. You stay up
maybe-
there, and that dopamine lasts for about 5 hours.
Wait, are you saying that if I'm having a bad day, I don't need a Xanax, I need a cold plunge?
That's right. Well, if you start your day with a cold plunge, I guarantee nothing will be worse than that.
That's
That's a dad joke in itself.
Yes. Okay, speaking of dad jokes, I need a good dad joke. I know you're a dad. What's your dad joke?
All right. Well, considering we had a pretty powerful full moon last night into this morning,
That was gorgeous.
it's so gorgeous. But I've got a moon joke for you.
Okay.
So, how does the moon cut his hair when the sun gets in the way?
Eclipse it?
Eclipse it.
That is really good. That's really good. He just doesn't have a dad joke. He's got a dad joke that like takes into account what's happening right now.
Well,
That's like the most mind-blowing dad joke.
Matt has been at this a bit longer than the rest of us too.
I
Yeah.
think he just called you old. That's what I heard there.
Yes.
He does have the oldest kids of anybody in this group.
He does have the oldest kids of anybody in this group
Well, that he's raised all the way through.
that he's raised all the way through.
Save David back there, but he's not on camera.
Yeah. The producer has older kids than us. Yep. All right. So, Matt, tell us what's going on in IW land. I know that you are running everything IW operations as IW operations director. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, we've actually got a really big weekend to close out August. So tomorrow we have 2 different Silky Hikes, one in the Northeast up in New Hampshire. They'll be starting over in Portsmouth, and this is their second year. Last year was amazing, really, really cool route. It's so beautiful up there along the coast, so it's hard to not be jealous that I'm not going to be able to attend. But this year they've got a fantastic lunch sponsor. Warren Seafood and More is covering. They've closed down their restaurant and they're opening the doors for IW. So we're going to go and enjoy some seafood in one of the best places.
I don't know if they're ready, Matt. I don't know if they're ready for all that IW.
I mean, who is?
Trial by fire, baby.
You know, another really, really cool thing about New Hampshire is our Northeast tribe over there, or especially in New England, has introduced the New England hike circuit. So this is the third stop on that route, third out of 6. And the deal is for our IW loyalists that travel to all 6 of those hikes in the New England area, they will receive a special limited edition hike tag for being so dedicated to the mission in that area. So pretty excited to see how that plays out.
I wonder how many make it through the whole hike circuit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if it's going to be like 3 people or 30 people or 300 people, you know?
We're going to see, but if I know the IW tribe, once they start seeing those New England hike tags, they're going to get some FOMO, and they're going to, if they don't do the circuit this year, I guarantee they're going to do it next year.
Yeah, buddy. Well, thanks. We're super excited. We're super excited to see how everything turns out. Those are some great hikes we got going on. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, we also have Detroit. They're coming back. They're back on the calendar. They are doing
Great Lakes.
Yeah, they're doing a heroes and villains theme. So lots of costumes at their hike tomorrow. They've also got some really awesome merchandise. They're going to be introducing some red, white, and blue tie-dye Irreverent Warriors shirts. So excited to see how those come out. And one of their hikers has actually put together a sound bath, a post-hike sound bath for those.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so it's going to be held at Full Lotus Yoga, and it's just an alternative to to the traditions of people gathering and staying downtown or going bar hopping or whatever they get into. So a nice alternative modality to stretch and relax and kind of release any extra energy from the excitement of the day. The last thing I want to mention about that is one of their stops is super cool. So we try to keep these hike routes pretty confidential. But I gotta highlight this stop. They are going to be swinging by the Michigan Central train station. This ridiculously large structure has been around since 1913. And it actually got shut down in 1988, and over the last couple of decades, it's been vacant. Eventually got bought up by the Ford company, and they've restored it to this beautiful condition. And now it's like a community hub for all of Detroit to enjoy. So we're going to be stopping there and checking it out.
That's very random, but next time I'm in Detroit, I'll have to go check that out. Thanks so much for giving us a rundown on everything happening this weekend. And if you're out there and you want to hit up a hike, go for it. And if not, just tune in online and you can live stream along with all the different hikes that are going on.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for joining us, man.
Anytime. Talk to you soon.
Peace. All right, so let's get in. I want to get in to Chris a little bit about Wreaths Across America. I know that you've been working there, and you've been working in the veteran space for some time. I want to know a little bit about, when you think about Wreaths Across America, like what's the backstory? How did it all start? Because a lot of us have gone to the cemeteries. We've laid out the wreaths. We've done ceremonies. We've bought wreaths. We've participated in Wreaths Across America for some time. But what's kind of the backstory? Where'd it come from?
Yeah, it's actually something I'm learning. I volunteered with them right here at Jefferson Barracks in St. Louis for 8 years.
Cool.
And never really knew the backstory or that it was actually something that they did at a bunch of different places. And now that I'm working for them this year, I've been learning a lot. I got to go see the headquarters in Maine. Where they have a huge farm there. Backstory of the family is from Maine. They own a farm and they make wreaths. And one year in 1992, they had a bunch of wreaths left over from their Christmas sales, and the family just got together with some other people in their local community there and said, hey, let's take these to Arlington and just place them at Arlington to honor our veterans, and loaded them up from Maine and drove down to D.C. and put those out there and loved it. All of the family members loved it. They had kids at the time and local people that were involved with it. Everyone thought this is a really cool thing. And so from 1992 until 2005, they just did that on their own every year. And they would just take a truckload of wreaths down to Arlington and place them out.
Nice.
And never got any attention, no publicity. It wasn't something that they wanted to be a big deal. They just thought it was something they could do to honor our veterans. And then in 2005, someone took a picture of it. And it's a pretty iconic picture now. It had snowed, so there was a little green wreath sitting on a grave with snow on it.
Nice.
And before Facebook and social media, they posted that online somewhere, and immediately people started reaching out, trying to find out how they could get involved in doing that. And it went very quickly after that. 2007, they actually became a nonprofit. They started getting enough people in the whole country from all over the country asking how they could get involved. The family was like, hey, let's figure out a way to make this happen. They become a nonprofit in 2007. That first year as a nonprofit, they ended up putting wreaths at over 300 cemeteries, and they did like 100,000 wreaths that first year as a nonprofit.
Wow. Our producer was just sharing on the screen the link if you want to both contribute to Wreaths Across America and to Irreverent Warriors, both at one time. They can go and sign up here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's grown to the point now where last year we did about 3 million wreaths across 6,000 cemeteries in the United States and other countries where we have U.S. veterans that are interred. And so it's a massive operation, and it all comes out of this family-owned and run company in Maine. It's all U.S. made and everything.
Okay.
It's really astonishing that they put that much out of that farm in Maine. You could go see it. They have a museum there now. If you're ever up in Maine or you're in that area, you can go and visit. They have a history museum there, everything. But what they've started doing, the founders, they said we really want to make sure that this is not just an us thing, that it's everyone in America can remember and honor veterans. And so they started a program where other nonprofits, they say, hey, we want to get our group and we want to raise money and put wreaths out and honor veterans. Or, hey, we have friends or family members that are buried in one of these cemeteries. We want to participate. And so we created a system where groups like Irreverent Warriors can set up a page that you saw there, and anyone that sponsors a wreath through your page, you get to select what cemetery it goes to. And then at the end of the year, we're going to give that organization $5 back for every wreath that gets sponsored through their page.
Great. Yeah, that's a great way for folks that want to support both organizations at one time. They can do that.
Yep, and it's real easy. The page is going to grow right now. I think Jefferson Barracks is the cemetery that's listed there. But whenever you go to the website, that link or that QR code that you see, you can search for any city in the country, and we have over 6,000 participating cemeteries already.
Okay.
You can select one and get your wreath that you're purchasing, or your 10 wreath or however much, and select them to go to a specific cemetery. It doesn't have to go to Jefferson Barracks. It could be any cemetery that we have in our network of 6,000 cemeteries. And those wreaths are $17 each, so it's not expensive. It's not something that's really cost prohibitive. But of those, every one that gets sponsored through Irreverent Warriors page, you'll get $5 back from those. And at first, it doesn't sound like much, but whenever you start thinking about how many chapters you have across the country and how many supporters you have, that $5 grows quickly. And for us, it's a win. We're getting another wreath that's put at another veteran's grave. And for organizations like Irreverent Warriors and others, they're getting some money that they can put back into their community. They can use it for their development that they're doing. They could buy more wreaths with that. It's whatever you think is best for your organization and your community. We want to just empower as many people to get involved with honoring our veterans, but also being active in their community.
Love it. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, we have a lot of chapters that do this. I know we in St. Louis, the St. Louis IW chapter has done this. Roy's headed that up several times, right, Roy?
Yeah, we've done it in St. Louis. We've done it the last 2 years. And last year we took some LCs from some of the local states out with us. I mean, we did it as a FAFO event here in St. Louis.
Yeah, friends and family are welcome to join.
Yeah, encouraged, actually.
Yeah.
I, from my point of view, some of the most impactful moments I saw were when one of our LCs from Vincent's dad, when he took his kids out to do it. And Dad's prior military, so he knew what he was doing, but it didn't really hit him quite the same way. And it was nice to see that impact land on him.
Yeah, sure.
It becomes emotional real fast.
Yeah, and then it provided an amazing teaching moment for him to teach his kids what sacrifice is.
For sure. And
Got
you can see that on that page when you go to the Irreverent Warrior link. One box says sponsor wreath, the other one says volunteer. You can also click that and sign up to volunteer at any one of those 6,000 cemeteries. You can sign up as a group, as an individual. You can sign up your family. We really, want to put wreaths on veterans' graves. That's our mission. But we also want to get people empowered and volunteering and serving in their communities to honor those veterans. So you can sign up a whole chapter if you want to do that, and make it fun. Do a hike on the morning of to the site or the location. There's really great ways to volunteer. You can communicate with that local volunteer that manages that cemetery and ask to help out with the ceremony that to do. They'll do a wreath laying ceremony before or after. You can help. I started by holding a wreath for the Army and the wreath laying ceremony before here at Jefferson Barracks. There's tons of opportunities to do it. You don't have to just come out and place a single wreath. That's awesome. If everyone did that, more veterans would be honored and remembered. But there's other ways that you can volunteer as well. Here in St. Louis, we did about 50,000 wreaths at Jefferson Barracks last year.
Wow.
Which is a huge number. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's huge. There's almost 200,000 graves at Jefferson Barracks. So we're not there, but that was our biggest year ever last year, about 50,000. Well, those 50,000 wreaths showed up on tractor trailers the week of Wreath Day. And I went up there to help, and it was a massive workout to unload tractor trailers full of boxes of wreaths. So that's a great way to volunteer as well. You can just come out and help unload the truck and stage those. There's lots of ways to volunteer. And if you're a person, let's say you don't have a cemetery that's local or close to you,
Sure.
you can go on the site and we can help find a local one in your area. And maybe you want to start that as a new cemetery that we can start putting wreaths at. All we need is a local person that wants to be the volunteer coordinator for that. We can work with you to pick a cemetery in your local community. There's lots and lots, millions of veterans that are, interned in cemeteries all over the country. You can't have too many. As many as we can get will help to honor and remember those. And like you said with your kids, it's all about teaching the next generation. Like, this is what freedom looks like. This is the people who served.
Yeah, we're real good about congratulating and thanking those of us who came home. We're as a community not so great about thanking those who didn't come home.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So if I'm a local chapter leader with Irreverent Warriors, the way I would sign my group up is, you said go to the website?
Yes, if you go to that link that they just had up on the screen here, they can put it back right there on the right. That blue box says volunteer. You can go ahead and click on it. It'll take you to the next page.
Yep.
And from there, right now it just has Jefferson Barracks listed there.
Okay.
But there's right underneath it a place where you can search by cemetery or by zip code or postal code.
Sure.
So you can, wherever you're at in the country, you could click on that now and register to volunteer for your local community. And once you do that, you're going to be getting emails from those local volunteers. We have 6,000 cemeteries. All of those are essentially managed by volunteers.
Wow.
That are saying, hey, I'm going to be responsible in my community to fundraise for this cemetery, put the wreaths out, coordinate with Wreaths Across America to make sure all of the logistics are there and stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of people all across the country involved. But I think that's like a symbol of who we are as a country. Like everyone,
Bring everyone
in every
together.
community can
Yeah.
come together, regardless of who you are, your background, and you can honor and remember veterans. It's a very simple process that we try to make it for everybody to get involved, sponsor wreaths. Like here, like I said, Jefferson Barracks, we did 50,000. I can tell you, if you talk to the local volunteers, they would want to do all 180,000.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. It all comes down to people sponsoring wreaths. Like however many wreaths people sponsor for Jefferson Barracks, that's
Sure.
how many wreaths are going to show up on a tractor trailer. So the more the merrier, the better. We can do as many as we can. And, the farm up in Maine is going to crank those out by hand as they get ordered and deliver them out here across the country.
What's our date this year, Chris? Is it December
19th.
19th.
So it's actually a congressional thing now.
Okay.
The United States Congress marks it as National Wreaths Across America Day, and they pick a date. It's usually the second or third Saturday in December. This year it's the 3rd, so December 19th, and we'll do that the same day at all 6,000 plus locations across the country.
Okay.
As one big massive show of appreciation for our veterans. And you get that information whenever you go to sign up to volunteer on there. It'll start getting emails about where and when and what time.
Great.
All that kind of stuff. We try to get it as easy as possible, the least amount of clicks as possible, get people serving, get people sponsoring wreaths, and we all work together to make last, like I said, 3 million wreaths last year. That's a lot of wreaths that got put on veterans' graves all over the country.
Now, I know a lot of people will be traveling that close to Christmas. So here's a couple hints you guys can all take into account for that as well. Number one, if you know where you're going to go, you can just sign up to help that local community distribute their wreaths. Or if you're going to be somewhere where you don't know or whatever your reasoning is, cleanup day in January is also a day that needs lots of help. And it's not so rock starry, not so glorious, but it's hard work that needs to get done too. So...
and be
in January,
prepared.
and it's
It's
what,
gonna
like
be
the
cold.
second or third week?
They usually do it on Martin Luther King week. That Saturday before Martin Luther King Day is usually weather permitting. Almost every year, I feel like it's either snowing or icing, but we've gotten out there and done it. Most cemeteries, especially the federal ones, they have regulations about how long the wreaths can sit there before they have to be picked up. We call it retiring the wreaths and bringing them back. That's a great way to help volunteer as well. You can get your Boy Scout troop, your church group, your veterans organization, lay wreaths together, help retire the wreaths together. It's a great way to have that team building, that camaraderie as well. Just being out there, you can't have a bad day whenever you're around a bunch of veterans that are no longer with us. So definitely do that. And then if you're a business or you're an organization, you say, hey, we want to get involved and help. There's tons of graves that still need to have a wreath put on them. Man, reach out and talk to us. We can definitely do stuff from a business level, or if you have another nonprofit and you're listening and you say, I want to do that for our nonprofit.
Yeah.
Reach out. We would love to get you connected. It's really just a partnership. We will make the wreaths and ship them out. We just need people to sponsor those wreaths all over the country.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for educating us on that. My favorite thing about Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery is it actually, this isn't well known, but they have the best skate park in Missouri.
Okay.
The best skate park is right there near the cemetery. And so I'm a skater.
Okay.
And I skateboard for a cardio all the time. So that's where I go. And then after and before I go and visit a couple of my homies that are over there, I've got 3 guys from my platoon that are buried over there from the Marine Corps. So
And that's something you might not know as well. A lot of the bigger cemeteries, you can sponsor wreaths specifically for that person. And
oh, cool.
If you're not able to lay that out, some of the cemeteries will have volunteers that will lay it there for you to make sure that your family member, your friend, your battle buddy gets honored. A lot of our locations will allow you to select a specific grave and honor them.
Cool. Nice. I'm in touch with a lot of those families of those guys that are still local. So I'll let them know about that.
Yeah, and it's really great if you have, like me, our people from my unit all over the country. The guys that we lost, we could send a wreath to that cemetery. And we also have a way you can send a wreath to their family, and it'll get delivered to their house. We call them Patriot Pairs. You can get one at the cemetery and one to somebody's house. Just any way we can to honor. It's all about honoring and remembering. So try to make as many options as possible for people out there.
Cool. Well, I've got to put you on the spot. What's your dad joke?
All right. This is a good one. I'm going to say I really like this one. If two vegetarians get into an argument, is it still called a beef?
Oh, good. That was good. I like that.
Definitely not chicken.
Definitely not chicken.
Very good. All right, Roy, you're up next. What's your dad joke? Come on, hit me with it. Don't be bashful.
It'll be less dark than my last one.
Okay.
Why don't let dad eggs tell jokes? Why don't dad eggs let their children tell jokes?
Get it out, Roy. Get it out. I don't know.
Because they'd crack up.
Crickets. Nice. And that's the best way to end this, I think, end this show. Chris, thank you so much for coming out.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us on here and partnering with us. We love to see all of the chapters. It's going to be really awesome. Some point late in the year, you'll be able to come back and say, this is how much we accomplished as a group, as a family of Irreverent Warriors. I think it's going to be remarkable to see. And then even better pictures coming from all the chapters out at a cemetery on Wreath Day. I think it's going to be a really cool thing for both of us.
Totally. And it's kind of Irreverent Warriors. We do hikes really well. And then everything else anything else that we've tried to add, wreaths has been kind of a grassroots thing that's been growing. It's a slow build. But it's like once IW gets around something and starts doing it every year on a regular basis, then it becomes like a groundswell and you can't turn it off.
And you'll see it like at Jefferson Barracks. There's whole sections of Jefferson Barracks where Picture Guard riders or AMVETS riders, they'll do a whole section and they'll raise 1,000 wreaths in their group, and they'll have guys out there in motorcycle vests, and you drive through like that is AMVET riders that are doing that section. It definitely takes time to grow, and you got to get people that are excited, and you got to find people that are willing to sponsor the wreaths. But if I'm in a IW chapter in, let's say, San Diego, and Rosecrans is right there, it's a huge cemetery. You can go to businesses in your community and say, hey, would you like to help us sponsor some wreaths right here in San Diego? And the business can help you get those sponsored. It doesn't have to be everybody. I don't think it's too much to say $17 for sponsoring a wreath, but I want to get 100 wreaths. And I could go find a local business that would want to help us. Or, hey, put our QR code up next to your cash register and let customers scan it and sponsor a wreath for our local cemetery.
Sure.
You can go wild with it. It's super easy, and everything is just going to go back to Irreverent Warriors and back to wreaths on more veterans' graves.
Hey, Chris, is it true that you're rocking silkies today?
I don't. So some of you guys know my boss. He's a super awesome veteran guy, and I told him I was going to wear my silkies today. I've done some silkies hikes and stuff, and I definitely have some. And I don't think that they would have appreciated the silkies on the podcast today.
I disagree.
My wife might have killed me too. I don't know.
I'll do it for you.
Oh no, let's go.
Yeah. I hope I remembered to put on silkies. Yeah.
Double check that before. Double check that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, worse things have happened around here.
Still not as priceless as Nick dropping his George
at the VFW conference
when he met Carol Whitmore the first time. Yeah, that was nice. Luckily caught on photograph even. So that is
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, guys, for coming into the studio. Thanks for all the virtual guests we had. And thanks all the listeners and everybody that's weighed in online. And we'll see you next week. So thank you so much.
Remember to check out the integration website. Get your tickets. Come join us. It's going to be a great time.
Yes. Irreverent Warriors, irreverentwarriors.org or grownstylefoundation.org for the integration September 18th tickets. Thank you very much, guys. Peace.